AITA for not accepting that our housekeeper to do my in-laws' additional house chores? So my husband, 32, and I, 32F, have a beautiful daughter, 8 months old. We were fortunate enough to have a live-in housekeeper that can take care of all of the house chores, while she stays at her own suite in the other side of the house. We pay her monthly and she is treated very fairly and professionally. 1 month ago, I had to go back to work after a long maternity leave. My husband also works and is working on his PhD. Needless to say, we are overwhelmed with time. We enrolled our baby in the daycare next to my workplace. We had another choice, which was keeping our daughter at my in-laws. But my husband's condition was for our housekeeper to go with our daughter and help my mill in basic daily house chores. I refused immediately because I know how things go in such cases. Mill will take advantage of having a helper and will ask her to do everything. Fast forward to 2 weeks. I witnessed some serious red flags from the daycare and we had to pull our baby out. My husband and my mill convinced me to keep our baby at her house until baby is a toddler and we can enroll her in a high-quality daycare. I agreed under one condition: to raise our housekeeper's salary by 25%. Friday, Saturday, she stays at our place so she can clean here, and she only helps with basic chores at the in-laws. I drop them off at 7:30 a.m. and I pick them up at 1 p.m. We come home, have lunch, prepared by Mill as per the deal. Housekeeper cleans the kitchen and we all nap for a while. Today, and after coming back home, Mill texted me that she sent with the housekeeper some clothes for the housekeeper to iron for the father-in-law as a homework. I told my husband that we will lose our housekeeper this way, and she only agreed with me to work in 2 houses is because of our daughter, and because I promised her she wouldn't do tough house chores there. She mopped their house twice in those 3 days. Husband and I had a fight about this because I asked him to talk to his mom and to tell her to not burden her with a lot of work. AITA? Edit. She is a housekeeper and not a nanny. Mill and Phil are the ones taking care of the baby. Housekeeper goes with baby because as per the initial deal, housekeeper can help Mill in basic daily chores that are directly or indirectly related to baby. But Mill is letting her deep clean and sent clothes for ironing at our home. Also, of course, she has a day off, Sunday, and she is well paid and she lives at our place in her suite. Accommodation free. Edit 2. I asked the housekeeper to start saying no to tasks that are not within her responsibility. She said it's hard for her to do that. My husband and I had a big fight, but then he came to his senses. He knows I'm right, but I don't know what is the issue with sons and their moms. He said first that she is mopping the ground that our baby is crawling on. /NTA. Your husband needs to be very explicit with his parents about what the housekeeper's job is at their house. Make a list of acceptable chores and what your mill is not allowed to ask her to do. I guess I just don't understand why she needs to go to your in-laws' house at all. She's not a nanny. You hired her to clean your house. She can do that whether your child is there or not. Frankly, if she has to clean 2 houses, then you should double her salary. NTA. Hire a part-time in-home nanny, not a live-in. Find an agency that specializes in nannies, babysitters, or go to a college with an early childhood education program and ask a guidance counselor or professor if they would recommend any of their responsible students as a caregiver. Right now you need to return the ironing work to your mill unfinished and clearly state to her that it is not the housekeeper's job while she works for you in mill home. State that if mill needs help with ironing, etc., she needs to hire her own housekeeper. Since your husband will not address his mother overstepping her boundaries, you must do it. Finding good trustworthy in-home help is so difficult that protecting a good working relationship is crucial. NTA. She's a housekeeper, not a housekeeper. This is too much to expect of one person, especially with only a 25% pay increase. NTA. Your husband wants to change the working agreement you have with the housekeeper. That should be negotiated with the housekeeper. Being paid more for additional duties is expected, but it is also responsible for the housekeeper to decline additional work. Having two sets of bosses is a good way to drive away the best worker. The additional duties should be set down in writing so the mill doesn't start adding tasks that were not agreed to. Info. Why is your mill's house the housekeeper's responsibility at all? I'm really confused as to why that is even a consideration. And has anyone discussed this with the housekeeper? Edit. Based on your clear lack of regard for the pressure your housekeeper is under to comply with your demands, considering her entire life is dependent on your approval, and how little you are compensating her for the extra work, and the fact that she's working 6 days a week. YTA. Hopefully you wake up and realize that the extreme power imbalance between you and your housekeeper means that you need to take way more care to respect her time off and her limits. NTA. Asking the housekeeper to clean another person's house, even if you feel it falls within their scope of duties, is an extremely large job. Keeping one house clean is a giant task. Now they are expected to keep 2 houses clean in half the time each. While I understand the duties are less at MIL's house, the pressure to perform is not lessened. My advice would be to return your housekeeper to only working at your home and consider hiring a part-time person to accompany your child at MIL's home. That prevents either housekeeper from having 2 bosses and allows each to focus on one specific task. Good luck. NTA. Your mill has no business assigning homework when your employee is at your house during work hours. She should be doing work for your household. When she's on her free time, it should be free. Your mill is taking unfair advantage of the housekeeper as a human. You should get that laundry and hand it back to your mill. And tell her if it happens again you will not be able to send your housekeeper to that house. The whole arrangement is pretty awkward anyway. So if you can move the baby to a daycare, it would make everything more manageable. NTA. You and your husband are paying the housekeeper, not mill. She is way overstepping. And you're not wrong in your assumption that eventually you will lose what seems like a quality employee. NTA. Tell mill that if she wants extra work done, she can pay the housekeeper for it. At most, the housekeeper should take over the chores that mill is missing while actively taking care of baby. Mill can find time to iron at 1 p. after they leave. NTA. And if I were the housekeeper, I'd be pretty annoyed someone sent me ironing as homework to do. NTA. Your concerns are 100% spot on. I would write a job description for her time there, like a task list, and sit down with her and Phil to review it. They should not ask her to do work outside of her job description. And it should be specific, not say things like chores, like mop weekly, load dishwasher daily, etc. Most importantly, ask your housekeeper to communicate any complaints to you so you can address them. That way they'll know how important they are to you. No chores should come with the housekeeper from one house to another. If you have a contract with her stating what duties she will perform and where and when, any additional duties need to be paid for by your in-laws. NTA. Info. Why is your housekeeper going to the in-laws at all? When does she get time off? Can you afford to have a nanny look after your baby at home during the week? Perhaps your husband would like to gift his parents the services of a different housekeeper once or twice a week? No, you had a deal with not only husband but in-laws about the housekeeper. They went back on it. NTA. Tell your mill that housekeeper will not be doing homework for her house as that is not the employment agreement. Tell your housekeeper that you are not changing the terms of her job and that she can tell mill, no. NTA. She is a housekeeper, not a slave. Your husband and mill cannot keep adding to her scope of work. Whatever was agreed upon originally by her and you when you discussed the work is the limit of her contract. Anything extra that you, your husband and the mill ask for is a violation of the scope of work. Tell husband and mill that they are not allowed to abuse the housekeeper this way. No means no. Otherwise mill will need to pay the housekeeper for the extras. Info. Can't your mother-in-law simply babysit her granddaughter in your home for the hours needed? The housekeeper may have only agreed to go because there is an imbalance in power dynamic where she may fear she may be fired and lose housing if she does not comply and go to your mother-in-law's, where she will be made to clean up after them, not just your baby girl, and that doesn't equal a 25% increase if she ends up cleaning 2 households, not 1 household, and only baby mess in another. Your mother-in-law wants a free house cleaner. She showed her intentions by sending the housekeeper home with the father-in-law's clothes to be ironed as homework. 25% is not equal to being paid by the hour, and homework is out of hours work. See if your housekeeper will be willing to nanny for you and raise her pay accordingly. That way you don't have to deal with the BS. NTA. Your in-laws are asking you to violate your business agreement. So unless you can renegotiate and in-laws can contribute a pay increase, they're out of luck.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.